Hey guys, welcome back to Ableton Online. We are jumping into Unit 2, Basic Composition and Programming Skills. And we're kicking things off with Lesson 1, Creating Drum Loops. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't gotten a BPC that is a bespoke private critique following Unit 1, please remember to do that before jumping into Unit 2. Just make sure you're on the right track. Make sure you got the concepts before diving in. All right, so let's get started here. What you hear in the background playing is in the drum category, and it is an ADG, a drum patch, okay? So I'm in the drums category, and I'm simply demoing out the kits that are available to me. So right now, to keep things streamlined, I'm just gonna go ahead and use an already pre-constructed kit that's going to be in Ableton already. We're gonna get into creating your own custom drum kit in the next lesson, but for now, let's go ahead and just pick a drum kit that's in here. So I'm gonna start off with this Deep Tech Minimal Beatbox, okay? And I'm just gonna, same thing as we've gone over in previous lessons, just drag that ADG, that preset, onto an empty MIDI track. I'm gonna get rid of this audio track for now. And I'm also gonna get rid of these return tracks. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go up here and set my master BPM for 124. Just feeling that groove right now today. And I'm gonna go down here so I can see my in and out and just confirm that my MIDI from is all ins, all channels, so that I should be able to play my MIDI keyboard here and find out kind of quickly what sounds are available to me in this drum kit. So if I just have a quick playthrough.
New York, move it.
So I'm just going through these sounds on my keyboard, my MIDI keyboard, and I'm just octave up.
Move it.
And octave down. To see what sounds are in the kit. So notice that I'm clipping out here. What I want to do is go ahead and lower this volume down so that I'm not clipping out the track or clipping out the master bus to start things off. And the simplest way to get a drum loop going is to double click to create a clip in any empty clip slot in the MIDI track. And then go ahead and expand your clip view down at the bottom, see what sounds are available to you. So notice that all of the keys that are available to me are going to be named as to the sample that is in that slot. And again, go ahead and enable this headphone icon.
Move it.
So that's another way to demo out the sounds.
Move it.
If you don't have a MIDI keyboard readily available, or if you don't feel like clicking this and playing around on your computer keyboard, okay? So the quickest way to get a drum loop going is to find a kick you like. If we're making electronic music, you wanna get that 4-on-the-floor kick going right away so you have some structure, so you have a foundation upon which to build the house of your song, to go with that metaphor. So, just gonna find one kick that I like for now. You can always layer it out. That is stack kicks on top of each other later on to get a more full sound. But for now, I'm just gonna pick one kick. Kind of like that one. And again, you can, anytime your mouse cursor turns into this hand with a magnifying glass, you can go left or right in clip view to zoom in and out vertically. Okay, kind of like an arrangement view, how you can go up here and in clip view, zoom up and down, drag your mouse up and down to zoom horizontally. So what I'm gonna do is just find that kick I like. And we're gonna keep this real simple. This is just a 1-bar loop. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a kick by double clicking, okay? And you're gonna put it at 1.1, which is just 1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. So now if I play that back, got a nice 4 on the floor kick drum going there. And now I'm gonna find a clap or a snare, and I'm gonna put those on the offbeat. So boom, clap, boom, clap, okay? And again, just double clicking to input that note. Okay? And I'm gonna give it a little bit of some hat action here. So I'm going to just simply double click to input notes that are gonna be on the kick and in between, so offbeats. And these hats are a little bit loud for my taste, so I'm just gonna click the corresponding keyboard key of that sound, that sample, and I'm going to hold down Command, and notice how up in this area, there is going to be a number. It's 97 now, but if I click and drag, I'm adjusting all the velocities of the hats that are input down so that I'm gonna make the kick a little bit bigger. Same thing with the hat. And you can go in and fine tune your velocities down here by using this little arrow disclosure triangle here. That will show or hide your velocities area, but for right now, I really have no need for it. We'll get into in a future lesson complex MIDI editing, but for now, just you want kind of more space to work with. So I'm just gonna leave that hidden. And again, just go in here, click the corresponding keyboard key, hold down Command, and turn these snares up a little bit. Double click in there. Feeling that? Sounds pretty good so far. Now, if you don't want to double click, the other way to manually enter with your mouse or trackpad notes into clip view, into this MIDI clip to create a drum loop, is to go up here and enable the pencil tool. Now all you have to do is click where you want your notes to be, and you can quickly draw in a whole bunch of them if you want. I'm gonna go ahead and undo that. So it's a little bit faster of an operation. Now you can also use the B key. Notice that this icon up here, when I hit B, will toggle on and off highlighted. So I'm gonna leave it off because I kind of prefer to just double click. It's a lot faster than having to, I know it's really simple just to hit B and then you have your pencil tool, but I kind of prefer to have it off. It's one less step, I know, but it does speed up the process. Again, going through. So basically what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go through and make something very, very simple upon which I can stack more sounds later, okay? So I don't really wanna get too complex with my initial drum loop. And what I can do now is I can go through and I can make variations. So what I'm gonna do is you can either click the clip and hit Command R to rename it, and I'm just gonna rename it 1. Or you can obviously right click, contextual menu, rename it 1. And then what you're gonna do is you're either gonna hit Command D, okay, I'm gonna hit that 5 times, well 4 times to make a total of 5 clips here, total of 5 variations. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Command R, I'm gonna type in 2, I'm gonna hit the down arrow for the next clip. It's a quick way of cycling through your clips to rename them. Hit 3, go 4, and go 5. Okay, so now I've got 5 potential variations. So what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna make each one of these longer. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate it out, working on that rule of 8. Okay, so the first one's pretty much locked in. The second one, a good rule of thumb here is anytime you have a 1 bar or a 2 bar variation, you wanna lock in as much of what is gonna remain the same between that 1 bar loop and a longer 8 bar variation of it, or between that 2 bar loop and a longer 8 bar variation of it. Because in essence, you don't wanna have to go through and redo a lot of note inputting. So, show you what I mean here. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the kick drum, this kind of sustained hat. Hit 2, click 2 up here.
D.
So to illustrate what I'm talking about here, what I'm gonna do is I am going to leave this as is for this variation, and I'm gonna duplicate it out to make an 8 bar loop one more time. And I've got my 8 bar loop up here, 1 to 9. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing on number 3. But what I'm gonna do on number 3 is I'm gonna add some stuff. So once I've added this hat, okay, now I'm gonna duplicate the loop to make it 2 bars long, but I'm gonna add another sound, but it's gonna have a variation every 2 bars, not every bar, okay? Emphasize the last one. So now that I've got that drum loop going, notice how this sound right here has a variation every 2 bars, not every bar. So I want to go ahead and draw that MIDI in before I duplicate that loop out, okay? So now I've got that. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with 4. And if you don't want to repeat all of these steps and you want this to build over time, what you can do is, now that I've got 3, I'm going to punch that in there with Command D to duplicate it over that number 4 and retype in number 4. So now I've got that 2 bar loop. What I can do is right click, crop that clip, and now I can put in another sound that's gonna have maybe a 2 or even a 4 bar variation. Let's do that. So now I've got a 4 bar variation. Let's add another sound on this number 4 clip. I'm just gonna go ahead and add some more notes in here. And again, I'm just double clicking to add these notes. So now that I've got the basic structure of my loop going, I've got my kick and my snare, okay? I've got some off hats and on the beat hats, all kind of in one sample and one sound. Got some percussion sounds, giving some backbeat. These 2 sounds are kind of both kind of thin rim shot type sounds. Got another on beat sustained cymbal. Got a tom kind of sound here for that backbeat. And now I'm adding in these kind of synthy percussion sounds. So you notice how they didn't sound the same because I didn't get this first note. And I'm gonna go ahead and make this vary over a 4 bar region. So what you can do is once you have inside your drum loop your two bar loop, what you can do is just Command D that once you've selected the proper time. Remember, if you don't select the proper time, so notice the bar along the top will highlight the same color as the notes when you highlight it, but look at where my time, it isn't starting at 1. So when I go to duplicate that, notice how it didn't duplicate the time with it. It only duplicated the notes, and it looped them from this part right here to the end. So put this note right on the end of that one. Don't make that mistake. Make sure when you're highlighting your notes to copy out a region of time that this bar is highlighted for the entire length of time you intend to copy, okay? So I'm gonna, again, Command D that, and I'm gonna make a variation at the end here so that this sound is now a 4-bar variation, and I'm gonna duplicate that loop to make it an 8-bar, okay? And then on clip number 5, I'm gonna go through here and add some more complexity here. So now we've got this. Basically, so far we've got and then right before 5, still not coming through. And then I'm gonna jump into 4 here. And then hit 3, 2, 1, 5. And I'm gonna add some kind of vocal stab in here. This drum kit just happens to have one.
Move it. The Pioneer. New York City. Deeper. Deeper. Deeper.
So I'm gonna add that at the end.
Deeper.
And you'll notice that on sustained sounds like that, deeper, it will stop almost instantly after that note ends. So I've lengthened this note out here so that
deeper.
It'll play right up until the next bar, okay?
Deeper. New York City.
And I'm gonna go ahead and Alt,
deeper.
drag that over to make another one there. So I'm just gonna add something to make 5 kind of unique. So I'm gonna add that clap here. On my offbeats, which is gonna be 1.2 and 1.4, and every bar, just 0.2 and 0.4. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag this out now. And again, you can select the time that you want and Command D. Now that I've got this from 3 to 5, I can just Command D again and one more time. And give this a little bit of variation here. And do the same thing here. And I'm kind of just following these notes down here. I think it'll sound kind of cool. And this is a bit beyond just building a drum loop out, because now we're getting into some synthy sounds, but you may find that this is right off the bat, what you kind of want your beat to be centered around is more instrument type sounds that have a bit of timbre, that have a bit of melody, and you can kind of work them into your drum beat to give it some character. So make that deeper, a little bit lower.
Deeper.
So there you have it. That's the basics of creating drum loops in Ableton Live. See you guys next time in Lesson 2, Creating Drum Loops, Part 2.